It's actually insane the level of theatrical things that we have to do just to survive in this life. We have to change our expressions in the way that we talk. We have to censor ourselves to avoid backlash or getting fired. Or just having to fake life or fake our own personalities until it becomes who we are after enough repetition, because life is a stage and it's the fakest people that get ahead and succeed in this artificial ass simulation of a society. And I feel like this theatrical thing is just not for me. I'm not built to fake life. And earlier this year, I reached a point of burnout and demoralization to where I can no longer fake it. I can no longer even try to pretend that I'm okay anymore. I can no longer pretend to fit into this society, to conform. I have been the square peg being hammered into the round hole for so long that, my edges have eventually become damaged. I just can't do this game of life anymore, and I'm exhausted. A system that makes you pay to exist, compete to eat, and obey to survive is just a prison with a strip mall built in. That's what capitalism is, a strip mall within a prison. And we are nothing more than batteries to perpetuate a system that benefits no one. And we are all too brainwashed or exhausted to escape or make any real changes. And I'm exhausted by existence. It is impossible to get ahead in this life unless you were born ahead in the first place. And life is a complete chore. It's never ending. I feel like every time it's one step forward, it's two steps back. And they say, your therapist will tell you that it's okay to not be okay, but in reality, it is not okay in this society to not be okay. Like if you fall on hard times for even a minute, this society will punish the shit out of you. There is no safety net for when shit gets real. You'll be sat down by HR in a heartbeat. I just don't know what everyone even expects from me at this point, because it's never enough. There's always a moving goalpost. You'll never have enough skills to stay relevant for long. I just feel like I can't keep up, and I'm the weakest link in every single group. I don't know how to stand up for myself. I don't know how to fight for myself in a lot of ways. I feel like I don't have a voice in this life, and I feel like I've been silenced and learned to be completely hopeless and helpless. I feel like I said before, a square peg in a round hole. I'm a fish who never learned how to swim. I basically was born into the wrong environment. I'm the fish that's being expected to climb the tree and being punished even though I'm not capable of climbing the trees, metaphorically speaking. I'm a fish that has never known water. I was born outside of the water. I just don't On another note, I don't understand how there's so many people on this planet. Like, you're telling me that so many people are just having kids mindlessly like this, because I don't understand why there is so much traffic 24/7. How are we all crammed into this same stupid little city all the time, all going somewhere at the same time, at all hours? What is the point of life? How is this even possible? Everyone seems to be moving on with milestones. They're having their kids, they're getting married, and they're questioning nothing. They're somehow, doing all this stuff mindlessly because that's just what they were told to do, or for some reason that worked out for them, never having to question it because life never dealt them one. And meanwhile, I have nothing to show for 32 years of life due to circumstances that were completely outside of my control, like becoming ill and becoming mental and all the shit that happened. And people are so quick to judge. I don't share my personal life with people in real life because they'll talk shit about me. And I mean, I've had people talk shit about me online too, but I have to share it somewhere. Everyone always asks what I do for work, and it makes meeting new people very painful because what am I supposed to say? Like, that I'm a dropout that never had more than 15 bucks an hour to my name? Like, I've never earned more than 15 bucks an hour, and I can't even figure out how to keep a job putting the fries in the bag. And I admit that that's pretty fucking pathetic, but the pressure to always be happy or to put on a happy face is so exhausting. It's so fake. I feel like I'm just trying to avoid these awkward encounters with people because I fear judgment. It's like, luckily, I don't really think I'm ever going to run into anybody that I know, but my self-esteem is shit because I have been made obsolete by society. Like, being unemployed for so long is demoralizing, but so is being employed, honestly. I used to take for granted that one day I would have a job and move out and have my own apartment. I used to take that for granted. It seemed like a guarantee that if I just did the plug and play life script, if I just checked all the boxes, my life would be something that would be worth living. And maybe I took for granted this idea that one day I would be able to live independently. And it never happened. I was robbed of that, and a lot of people were too. And society preaches success and grinding and hustling. Like if we catch our breath, we are shamed for relaxing and being lazy. It seems that nothing is fun to me anymore. Even the video games that I used to enjoy are completely pointless at this point. I don't look forward to release dates. I don't look forward to anything. There are no milestones left to achieve. There is nothing else to look forward to in this life. And it's gotten to the point where I'm almost paranoid around people because I don't know who's going to be the next dangerous person to harm me. And it's difficult for me to discern who has good intentions for me and who doesn't. And the amount of stress and adrenaline that it takes just to survive fills me with so much rage. Like, we are living like animals. We just keep going, chasing the next check so we have a roof and food. And that's all that there is to it. There is no winning if you're an authentic and genuine person who doesn't understand the theatrical metagame of life. If you don't understand how to play the game or don't even know that there is a game, you're going to get dealt a bad hand and you're just not going to figure it out. And you're going to get screwed over. You're going to end up homeless if you don't have anywhere else to go. I just want to make enough to survive. Even bare minimum survival seems like it's out of reach for me. I don't even know how to escape my parents' house or to have enough money to support myself. And I am tired of paying so much just to exist. I mean, this isn't even living. Like, living is just so expensive. I wish survival wasn't stuck behind this paywall. I know they say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but that's such bullshit. Like, life is a non-stop performance, and if you mess up your lines, the scars and damage will be so terrible that you may never recover. I've had things happen to me that were just objectively life-ruining. They were objectively bad. Becoming bereaved, becoming ill, going through all this shit has made my life very, very difficult in ways that it wasn't before, and I'm bereaved at the life that I've lost, that I could have had, that I thought I would have. And they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but that's such bullshit. Like I said, this idea that we get stronger from adversity is just not true. We are forced to participate in the system, and being poor is basically against the law. I haven't learned anything from my struggles. I just keep reframing everything, but it honestly just have these moments where I'm like, my life was objectively worse than before all this shit happened to me. And existence was imposed on me. I used to want kids because I wanted love and I wanted family and I wanted unity. But I think the entire idea at this point is a waste of time. I'm not going to bring another conscious being into this life knowing what I know about this existence. About all the violence and all the assaults, about how random life is at all times, how you can do everything right and have everything taken from you. And saving money is damn near impossible because some unexpected bullshit always happens to zero out your savings. The only option is to earn more, but I sure as shit don't know how to do that with my current skill set. And I really don't know how to increase my skill set at all. I feel like learning is very difficult for me, and people don't talk about, people take for granted that you have an average capacity for education and learning. They think that everybody is able to learn, or everybody is able to do certain things like get out of bed in the morning, or brush their teeth even, or take care of their hygiene, or just eat and afford food. There's a lot of things that people take for granted when they talk about, building a skill set, things that I used to take for granted, like having stable housing, or having stable mental health, or having stable physical health, or not having an impairment or some kind of disability that makes it physically impossible or mentally impossible for you to do these things. And it's so shameful to explain to people that you can't do it, because this ableistic bullshit that I feel like I've been guilty of before I became disabled is endless. It's like you can't really get people to understand what it's like to have these serious limitations to your learning, to your energy levels, unless they've experienced it. I feel like I have no choice but to make money on my own, but I literally have no idea how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to make a business for myself or earn money by myself. I feel like they say it's no measure of health to be well adjusted in a corrupt society, but if you don't manage to fit in, you're punished. And maybe we are in the right, but It feels like there is no reward for being in the right. I've been so isolated from like minded people, I feel like I have been completely forgotten by those who used to know me. I feel like there was a time when I had people in my life, and somehow it all got washed away. And I'm tired of playing pretend. I can't jump through these hoops anymore. The goalpost is always moving, and I feel like I never had a destiny and purpose that was within my control. And most people don't. I just think that life is a bunch of factors that we can't control and that shape who we become whether we want to or not. It's like we have so little influence over our own existence. I feel like I am at the mercy of life itself. I have no purpose or path for myself, it seems. Sometimes I wonder if we even have free will, like how much of our mind is actually available for use that hasn't been hijacked by the distractions and the chemicals and the stress of society. I mean, they say the radioactive oatmeal is a thing now. I mean, honestly, there's so much bullshit in our food. It's impossible. Like our brains are basically cooked. We're basically fucked over. This new generation is being born on screens. They're being vegetated and unable to read. And I feel like I'm not destined for anything great at all. And I know I have to create my own destiny, but I don't know where to start. And even when I try to achieve something, I feel like there's always this invisible cap that society puts on what's possible. The system is rigged and it's just too rigid. Those of us who can't be good little cogs in the machine get discarded like trash. I feel like my mind has been weakened by the stress of survival to the point where I don't even know if I can recover anymore. The truth is, you could probably call me a loser or a failure, but the system is always moving the goalpost. As soon as I catch up, it gets moved farther away. And I don't want to blame myself for a situation that I never had the tools to avoid getting into or the tools to resolve. I just don't know what I don't know, and it's difficult for me to see the things I have to do to advance my situation. And this is bigger than just my own efforts. I mean, I'm in isolation. I feel like a lot of people take for granted this idea of human capital, of having people in your ear that give good advice, that give guidance, of having a network of people that can afford you opportunities. I don't have that. I don't know where to get one or how to build one. And like I said, this is bigger than just my own efforts. Society demands every drop of our energy and just the smallest chance of success, and there's a very big chance that you will work your life away for nothing. The hard work is no guarantee at all. The real losers are the workaholics who value giving their all to a company just for the money, and they aren't even allowed to keep it in most cases. I'm not chasing validation anymore. I don't even understand the purpose of achievement other than avoiding the shame that comes with failure. And what is the point of winning anyway? There's no point in blaming myself for not being able to beat a game that was already played to near completion before I even got to join. And when you think about what shame is, it's just words and negativity that other people are projecting onto you in order to control you and get you to do what they want you to do. If you just ignore the words and do what the fuck you want anyway, then shame has no control over you. The comfort of the rich depends on the exploitation of the poor. And there has to be more to life than half a century plus of wage slavery just to get cancer and die slowly and rot away before we turn 80. Every time I try to formulate a way out, the crabs in the bucket drag me back down before I ever have a chance to escape. I feel like this life is so hellish. I wish there was a way to exit life without negatively impacting anybody else. And I would rather live a short life doing what it is that I want to do with my time than live 100 years a slave to capitalism. I just don't understand this merit of hard work that the boomers and the previous generations keep purporting. It's like maybe they got something out of it. Maybe it wasn't a complete waste of time for them to do all this shit. I've always just wanted to feel like everything was going to be okay, but the truth is there are no guarantees, and if you aren't privileged enough to be protected from reality, nothing in fact is ever going to be okay for long. I feel like I'm in this perpetual state of overwhelm, and then it hits me that just how complicated everything is. Just to do something as simple as survival, like no other animal has this level of complexity when it comes to survival. How come we've had to monetize survival? I feel like I'm stuck in a freeze state. My nerves are locked down, and sometimes my mind and body are just unable to even make me get out of bed. There is nothing for me in this life, and I feel like my existence is just a waiting room for death. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop and for this life to be over. And when you say all this stuff out loud to normal people, they'll call you lazy or negative simply for realizing the futility of your efforts. When will Sisyphus realize that there is no point in pushing the stone up the hill? They can't suck our energy away if we simply stop supplying them with the next generation of people to exploit. And after a certain point, all of the nagging to find employment just becomes irritating noise like a mosquito in your ear or nails down a chalkboard. Although unpleasant as it is, it's just a soundbite that carries no actual meaning. We are all struggling, and it's calculated, formulated, and completely by design. It's inescapable, and it's meant to be this way. The mortal existence is so unnecessarily unpredictable. When we are young, we are at the mercy of our caretakers. When we are adults, we become slaves. And if we live long enough, we get thrown into a care home and rot until death for hours, lying on our own filth until we die. And this is the trajectory of most of our lives. And it just doesn't inspire me to bring anyone else into it. And I'm glad that I have the resources necessary to guard my womb, because some women, even in this country, are basically sheltered and sold into marriage. And it's the only life they ever know. They don't even have the transportation or the ability to make a doctor's appointment to get a birth control implant. There's just a complete lack of education, and it's only getting worse. And we just go through the motions and suppress our actual calling, repeating the same day over and over again. Or maybe that calling was nothing more than delusion all along, and I guess it's just as well. Because if you have been cursed with disability or trauma, then society will take a special interest in demoralizing you, as if any of us asked to be this useless. I didn't ask to be this expendable or this useless. I guess I'm not feeling this alone. I know I'm not alone. But it sucks that the only people who understand are strangers on the internet. And I guess at least we have that these days, but I used to be told that this too shall pass, but certain things never truly resolve, and they recur with increased severity year after year after year. Certain things are progressive. Certain things don't get better, they only get worse. And up until recently, I used to feel awful for being behind in life. But at this point, my perspective has changed to being so disillusioned with the game of life that even beating the game and winning seems like an actual waste of time. I feel fractured and disconnected, and I can't remember a time when things were ever good enough to justify the bad. This life is so unnatural and damaging to the human animal, like we are forced to accept the most inhumane conditions without question, and we didn't ask for any of this. They have lengthened our life simply to keep us alive as slaves for longer and reclaim anything that we managed to accumulate through long-term elder care to ensure that generational wealth remains impossible. It's like you do all this stuff to earn a living, right? And then at the very end, you go to probate court, and the probate court reclaims everything that you've earned to put you into a facility and then rob your family of whatever you had left. I mean, everything gets reclaimed to the state in the end of life. Unless you're just part of the state system. Generational wealth is fading. I mean, the idea of generational wealth is almost impossible these days. The Matrix literally drains us of our life force. I feel like the only way to survive this is to accept whatever happens and not take the result, the pain, and the bullshit seriously at all. Let the world burn and let it rot. Because the world is collapsing and each generation is weaker than the last. Most kids these days are unable to read, write, or even do math. If life sucks in your prime, the odds are the rest of your life will be even worse, up until death. There is no time of life to look forward to these days. Your 20s aren't good, your childhood isn't good, elderhood isn't good, you have to work until you die. There's never really a respite from all the bullshit. And the world has already become a different place within the last 5 years. How many more global upheavals will compromise the survival of our survival by the time we get too old to work? Like, most of us are going to be left with nothing, and it won't even be our fault. As a kid, I deluded myself that if I worked hard enough, one day I would have the resources to leave my situation and make my own life. Little did I know that all of this was bullshit, and the bullshit of life would make it impossible for me to do this. An autoimmune disease, a mental health crisis, and a shit economy have made scraping by even just impossible. And they say that life is short, but it has never felt that way to me. Every day seems to drag on an eternity, repeating itself to the point of madness. I have been in a state of total anhedonia for nearly 20 years. The majority of my life has been marked by feeling like my destiny has never been in my hands at all. There's just this pervasive feeling of learned helplessness at this point, and I don't know how to escape it. I really can't remember the last time I felt enthusiasm or joy. I just feel burnt out, beat down, and numb most of the time. I wish I could just reset myself to factory settings and somehow heal my mind enough to be able to experience anything other than intense levels of extreme boredom, malaise, and irritation. Because my inexperience has led to me trusting people in situations that damage my life beyond repair. The level of fear and anxiety that I have around people is unmanageable most of the time. And people call me a snowflake for my inability to conform. And conforming to the system is just not in me anymore. I used to want to fit in. I used to endeavor to fit in, but I'm not made for this. I feel like I'm being exploited every time I'm being forced to be someone that I'm not. And we were all brought here into this life that we didn't want or even asked to be a part of. If you're forced to work for someone else to survive, you are not free. I feel like the most people in the US have been sold this idea of freedom that was never actually real to begin with. I feel like the American version of freedom is all just branding. It's a marketing scam. It doesn't apply to most people. And we're not even working towards anything anymore. We're just working. The biggest lie we're told is that relaxing and being comfortable is a sign of laziness. So much of our destiny is premeditated by the coochie that we were squeezed out of, and only a fraction of the way our life turns out is actually up to our own efforts. And I hate when people who come from privilege and just had all the opportunities handed to them through their father's network think that they have done something hard by getting a good job. It's just so invalidating for the rest of us. They just have no idea what it's like. And I've never regretted being an underachiever. When you set a precedent of being an average worker, no one expects you to go above and beyond, and you usually get paid about the same as people who do go above and beyond. And people say you can do whatever you want with your life and whatever you set your mind to. The problem lies not in being able to set your mind to anything, or not being physically or mentally able to do it due to disability, trauma, or lack of education and aptitude. There are just some people that are borderline or intellectually disabled. I personally don't have an intellectual disability. I have an executive functioning disability in the form of ADHD. But I'll admit that before I started getting help for my disabilities, I would judge people that weren't intelligent, thinking that this was something that they could control, thinking that this was something that was a moral failure or of that sort. But it never was. And I admit that before I became disabled myself, or before I learned how impaired I actually was, I had no idea what it was like to deal with that kind of adversity. And now I know for real that you can try to explain to people that don't understand limitations, but they're never going to get it. And sometimes you just fucking can't. You know, in the same way that I physically can't lift 500 pounds off the ground, there are just some things that are mentally impossible for me to do, that are beyond my comprehension to do. And maybe there are resources out there that would give me a better and stronger aptitude to do these things. But how do you get there when you can't afford it? It's like you either are born with resources to afford the resources to succeed, or you don't have them. It's like, what are you supposed to do? People say that I just don't want to work because I'm lazy, when in reality there are plenty of things that I want to work on. Most of them just don't involve being someone else's wage slave. And literally my greatest fear of all time right now is forced pregnancy. The system isn't producing enough slaves these days, so they literally have to force unwanted people into existence at the expense of women's freedom. And I will never understand the obsession with forcing more life into existence that isn't wanted, as if this is some sort of just and moral cause, because it's just not. Existence itself is corruption. I just don't see the value in human existence or human life. And with the system that has made it impossible to follow your own path if you choose to attempt to win, the only thing to do is to completely opt out. Life has screwed me over in ways that are impossible to come back from. I haven't known hope since before I could remember, and hope is a privilege that I believe I am no longer afforded. It's a delusion. It's something that you have to have innocence and naivety to even experience. Having a future plan and goals that you are actually able to accomplish is a privilege. I feel like I've lost the soulful part of myself that had hope for a bright future because of all the darkness I've experienced and seen. And so many people will do whatever it takes to ruin any hope that you have of bettering your life. The wrong people will ruin your life. I didn't realize how swiftly someone could ruin your life. And then people will ask you why you don't just leave. When it becomes life-threatening, when it becomes difficult, when there's eviction notices and you have to figure out how to get yourself to court and kick this person out, there's so many factors that go into not being able to leave a bad situation. I used to wonder it too. I used to wonder, why doesn't she just leave until I was in a similar situation. And at the end of the day, I'm just tired of existing. I'm tired of this existence. If life was a manageable situation, then it would be different. But at the end of the day, it's not. Because life is just impossible these days. And with that, I'm going to end this channel. Or not this channel, but this video. I know some of you would be happy if I did end my channel. But anyway, my name is Shelby. I exist and I make stuff. And you can check out all my links below. My Shopify with my art if you're interested. My Instagram with my art if you're interested in looking at my art. And otherwise, subscribe, comment, do all the things, become a channel member. And if you are exhausted by existence, please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. And we can kind of try to build a community here. And if you're interested in the Discord, you can just become a channel member to access the Discord, and we can all get to know each other on there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.